Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along. Well, we flew through Cincinnati and we all got really happy. Grabbed a bowl of that Skyline chili along the way. Then we rode on into Canton, scared the hell out of Marilyn Manson, and the party started happening. Hey, hey, hey. And in the middle of a Charleston night, we ran into Jessica White, and a little moonshine got us right from smacking.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for joining us, taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking us along. Jim Coyle with you as always. Justin Kalen high atop the crew chief's box for you.
That's right.
Hope your day's off to a good start, and hope we can get it headed in that direction on the phone or on the show today. Chronic Hoosier will be joining us. We'll also have Mike Schumann. Indiana on the hardwood tonight as the NIT continues at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. We'll get to all that. Before we do, let's get to the headlines with Justin.
All right, here are your Daily Hoosier headlines for this 26th day of March 2019. As UFC's Conor McGregor announces retirement via a tweet yesterday. Indiana men's basketball set to take on Wichita State tonight at 7 in Simon Scott Assembly Hall for a chance to get to Madison Square Garden for the NIT Final Four. On the other side of the bracket, Creighton and TCU also play tonight. Those are a look at your Daily Hoosier headlines for this 26th day of March 2019. For more information, be sure to check out thedailyhoosier.com.
Yeah, welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for taking us along, like I said. Here on this March 26th, Tuesday, Indiana takes on Wichita State, the Shockers, tonight at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Central, 6 o'clock Central. Depending on where you are, make the adjustment. Don Fisher with the call, of course. He'll be on an hour prior to with the pregame. So you can catch all of that right here. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to change the channel. Keep it tuned right here as Indiana definitively their last home game at Simon Scott Assembly Hall for the season, no matter what happens. The winner of this game will move on to Madison Square Garden in New York next week to play the final 2 games. You heard Justin say that Creighton and
TCU.
I took off the NIT bracket. TCU and Creighton, which is on Indiana's side of the bracket, also play tonight, so we'll know who is half of the Final Four. The other side, Lipscomb and North Carolina State, Archie Miller's alma mater there in North Carolina State. And then Texas and Colorado will vie for the other spot. Those finals are on April 2nd and 4th in New York. Maybe we'll be there for you. Who knows? Indiana playing well. I'll tell you who is also playing well right now, and that's Wichita State.
Yeah.
Shockers they're hot. After an 8-11 start, 1-6 in conference play, kind of dropped them off the national radar for a while. Greg Marshall, their coach, seized control of his team. They won 13 of their last 16 and 8 of their last 9. Not a bad run.
Yep.
They don't give away the ball much at AAC. They're in the AAC conference. Their turnover rate just 16%. Not bad.
What's Indiana's for comparison?
You know, if I had it in front of me, I'd tell you.
Yeah.
I don't.
Probably 20.
You know what? It's been up and down. It's been, they had done a better job of it of late, but then these last couple of games, they've just kind of got away from them again.
Yeah.
They're busy around the rim. They shoot the ball 47%. They've had 10% of their shots blocked this season. That's a high number.
That's really high.
IU has quietly become a top 50 shot blocking team nationally. So that may come into play. You got a big forward in 6'8", Marcus McDuffie. He's their main guy. He's averaging over 18 points a game. Been pretty consistent for the Shockers all season.
Yeah.
Doesn't get a lot of rebounds, but you're averaging 18 points a game. You're doing well. Samaje Haynes is one of their guards. 12 points a game. They've got a big 6'11" guy. He's only averaging about 10 points a game, but he takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, and this is a well-coached Wichita State team.
Oh, man.
Very well coached.
Greg Marshall. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you have any of the sound from yesterday.
Got all kinds of it. What do you want?
But he met with the media, and, yeah, super good guy. Greg Marshall. Indiana and Wichita State met in the postseason not that long ago. It was in the NCAA tournament a few years back. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, Archie actually talked about that when he met with the media yesterday about that Wichita State team. See what he had to say.
Well, we played a fantastic Wichita State team at Dayton in the NCAA tournament, and it was an extremely hard-fought game. And the team that they had, was very balanced. They had a lot of weapons. When you play them, you just have to understand what's going on. And if you're not ready to rebound and play hard, and you're not ready to compete, they're going to get you. That's been their MO for as long as Coach Marshall's been there. I mean, their mantra is just toughness. And I remember that game like it was yesterday. It was us not being able to score enough baskets at the end, but how hard fought the game was. And that team again, I thought last year maybe won the conference championship, and got into the NCAA tournament again. And but this team is different. They have new faces that are brand new. McDuffie's the one guy that's been a mainstay in their program. He's a senior. He's an all-conference player, 19 a game. Offensive rebounds, drives. He's made 76 threes on the season. He's a very, very difficult matchup, and they do a good job.
Archie Miller. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a tough game tonight, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. It's you don't get to this level of anything. It doesn't matter if it's NCAA tournament, NIT. It doesn't matter if it's a holiday tournament. You're getting to the third level, man. That means you're cutting out the fat, and you're getting down to the teams. All these teams that are left, these teams are all similar because they could probably have all made it to the NCAA tournament this year. For one reason or another, they didn't. Something happened. Wichita State, kind of like Indiana, went into a little tailspin. Well, it had a section of the season that really got away from them, I guess, the best you can say. So just like Indiana, they had that section of the season, which, people can speculate and talk about it all they want. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. Romeo, we don't know about Romeo, if he'll play, if he won't play. I honestly would not expect him to play in this game since it came so much quicker after the second game. If he's going to play, I think it would be in New York.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see him again there. But we'll see. Hey, make sure you like or follow us on Facebook. You can find this show rebroadcast any place you can find a podcast. iTunes, Apple Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play. You can find the show live each day on thedailyhoosier.com, indianasportsbeat.com, or on thegruelingtruth.net. You can follow me on Twitter at Jim Coyle ISB. Keep up with everything. Hit us up on the text line. Let us know what your thoughts are. 812-269-6367, like Joker did. He's lit it up already today and says, Kentucky roll call can suck it. Not sure what that's about, but maybe I missed something.
That's what they always tell everybody.
Gotcha. But hit us up. Appreciate it, Joker, and I hope everybody else is off to a good day and a good start. Tonight, Indiana takes on the Shockers in the third round of the NIT at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall. Game time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 Central. That game is carried right here, of course. Don Fisher on the call if you're not going to Assembly Hall. But it's a great opportunity for people to go to game that don't normally get the opportunity because it's only $20. It's general admission. You get there early, you can sit down there pretty daggone low, man.
Yeah.
And what a crowd they had Saturday. Holy crap. I mean, it was huge. It was a regular. It was bigger than most people get all season.
Yeah. Do you think they surpass that tonight?
No, I do not. It was a Saturday. There was a big effort to get tickets in the hands of other people that may not be able to go normally, like the Boys and Girls Club. So it was a great effort. Martha the Mop Lady on Twitter kind of spearheaded that. So that was a big. It was a nice day. This is a Tuesday. It's during the week. So yeah, I do not expect that kind of crowd. But hey, I could be surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, not really. I'm not expecting that though. I'm totally not. Not on a Tuesday.
I think it helps that
But,
it's at 7 o'clock as opposed to the later 9 o'clock slot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Nobody wants to go to a 9 o'clock game.
No.
Nobody wants to go. But it ought to be a decent game.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Wichita State is a good team. Indiana's a good team. So, and it could be the last time you see some people play like Juwan Morgan.
Last time in Assembly Hall for sure.
Who knows? Absolutely last time in Assembly Hall for some of these guys.
Yeah.
But we'll certainly find out. Hey, Chronic Hoosiers on the show today. Mike Schumann's on the show today as well. Get your questions and comments in anytime if you would like.
Joker text in again, said if UK loses to Houston, the National Weather System will have to issue a flash flooding alert for the Ohio Valley area.
That's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Looking forward to all the games this weekend, to be honest with you. A lot of the Sweet 16 games are going to be a lot of fun.
So we've got, and I talked about this yesterday, lots of chalk, almost all chalk.
Yeah.
Which ought to help me back in my bracket. It ought to help me write things a little bit. It had kind of gotten askew, if you know what I mean. I took a few losses.
Yeah.
But get your questions in for Chronic Hoosier and Mike Schumann. Let us know what you're thinking about. Congratulations to Silver Creek Dragons, one of 4 new state champions. Andrean also wins the 2A. Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian, your 1A champs. And your Carmel Greyhounds, the 4A champs. Another great basketball season.
Yeah.
In the books, the women for the Indiana program. Another great season for them as they make it back from Oregon after losing to Oregon in the second round of the NCAA tournament. But a tremendous season for them. But, man, they have got to be stoked because the future looks nothing but bright.
Yeah.
They've got that entire team back with the exception of Kim Royster.
And if you think about it, Kim Royster wasn't a huge piece of that team this year. So,
I mean, she was a valuable,
absolutely,
but replaceable.
Right.
And I don't mean that in any negative way. It's just, man, you're in good shape when you have a really, really good team coming back.
Yeah.
And you're adding pieces to that because they have a good recruiting class. Again, to add to that. So, congratulations, Terry Moore. Baseball team's doing well right now. Jeff Mercer's got them off. They just won a 3-game series with the Iowa Hawkeyes to open up Big Ten play. Who was the kid that? Grant Richardson.
Yeah.
He went 3 for 4 on Sunday, but was the Big Ten Player and Freshman of the Week. Kids are freshmen.
It's pretty crazy. And if you're clamoring for more, they play tomorrow night at home again.
They sure do. So they take on Kent State.
Kent State, yep.
So there's that. There's that. The NCAA tournament also going on, of course. Games start again this Thursday. So you got basketball every day. NIT today. Rolling forward, so plenty to get to. Plenty to talk about. Chronic Hoosiers on the show today. Mike Schumann's on the show today. Get your questions in. We got plenty to talk about. Hit us up right here on Indiana Sports Beat. We're back with tons more right after this.
She comes and goes.
Daily, Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and
Well,
flu
let's
contain
try that.
acetaminophen.
Well, we're doing a
pain reliever
Fisher
and
interview.
fever
That's why I said
reducer
I'd
found
call
in
you
hundreds
after
of
that.
over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for joining us here on this Monday. And as always, we have the great honor of being joined by Don Fisher, the voice of the Indiana Hoosiers. Don, sir, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good, good. Hope you had a great weekend. It's almost golf weather, man. It's almost getting there. The rain came a little bit late. I don't know if you got a chance. I saw some people out golfing this weekend. I don't know if you got a chance to get out at all.
No, I did not. As usual, work interferes with my fun.
I hate when
I did
that
not play
happens.
golf this weekend, no.
But a great game. day for Indiana on Saturdays. They took on Arkansas, the Razorbacks, for a second-round NIT game, and man, they came to play, and none better than Devontae Green. And I got to start with him. What a resurgence by him, and what a great turnaround to his season for him.
Well, there's no question he's playing his best basketball of his career at Indiana, and that's a great sign for this team because he is a talented kid. I think through the years we have said, he possesses as much talent as anybody on this basketball team, and yet he just didn't. I mean, there are times when it's the good Devontae and the bad Devontae at times, and honestly, you see that in every ball game. But you see the bad Devontae less and less here of late. And kind of, if you look back to last year, you had a similar scenario. There were 4 or 5 games toward the end of the season where he really played well, really helped that ball club. And then, of course, he went away again and was, sat for pretty much most of the rest of those 3 or 4 ball games at the end of the year. And this season was kind of the same way. He's had some injury issues, as everyone knows, and that type of thing has happened. He had a suspension for 3 games. But since that suspension, I think he pretty much has settled in to the kind of player that he can be. And he certainly performed really well against the Arkansas ball club the other day. And, he gets a double-double, 18 points and 11 rebounds in the game. He had 3 assists. He had 3 steals. Very active. There was a shot or two that probably shouldn't have gone up, and he made a mistake at the end of the ball game based on the fact that Archie Miller wanted a foul committed there before they took a 3-point shot. And he got to the guy almost. I mean, I guess there could have been a foul called. He got to him late. Nevertheless, it worked out. And as you saw, Archie and Devontae went off the floor at the end of that ball game, arm in arm. Obviously, I think Archie was still talking about what were you doing? What are you thinking out there after we just talked about this? But whatever the case, it all worked out. And this basketball team has won 2 ball games, and they're 1 game away from New York City.
Yeah, Wichita State Shockers. The only thing that stands in the way of between Indiana and a trip to New York tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Of course, the Hoosiers will host the Shockers, a team that they've played before in the tournament. And obviously, anybody you play at this juncture of the season or tournament, wherever you're playing, they're going to be good and they're going to provide you with a stern test.
Well, there's no question about that. This Wichita State team is 21-14 on the year. They finished Sunday tied for 6th place in the American Conference. They switched conferences since the last time Indiana played them. The last time they were a Missouri Valley team, but they've jumped into the American.
Don, did we lose him?
Yeah, I don't hear him.
Uh-oh. All right, let's try to get him back.
Let's try to get him back. But he's fading out a little bit, yeah. But he's talking about Wichita State having switched conferences since the last time Indiana played. But the last time they played also was in the NCAA tournament. That was a great Wichita State team. Obviously, both teams were better at the time because both were in the NCAA tournament at the time. But it's going to be a similar matchup. Both these teams are well coached and are playing probably their best basketball of the season right now. That's the case for Indiana, even though they had that nice run up against Michigan State after they had lost 12-13. Well, they won those few games in a row. But right now, as a team, they seem to be playing better basketball offensively, and they're back to playing good defense, which is tantamount to their success because their offense is predicated off of their defense, and that gone away. So we'll see if they can get that back.
Yeah, and I'll see if I can't get Don back because I really liked where he was going with that. I'm calling him now, so we'll see if he comes on. But yeah, that was unusual for him to drop like that. But
yeah,
there he is.
But yeah,
hello.
Got him back.
Don back. Hey, Don, Jim Coyle back with you. You were talking about Wichita State. Wichita, obviously a tough team, and Wichita's a tough matchup for this Indiana team, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are. I mean, Wichita State is 21-14 on the year, 10-8 in the conference. It's a ball club that has a lot of size to it, a lot of physicality to it. Greg Marshall is a terrific coach. He picked up his 500th win in the first NIT game against Furman last week, I should say, and this guy's been around a long time, and he's got a great record, and he's been with the Shockers for 12 years now. So, but it's his youngest team. It's a rebuilding year for them, and yet they found a way to win ball games, especially here at the end of the season. In fact, they've only lost once, I think. Let's see, 3-5. They've actually lost one time in their last 9 games. So this is a ball club that is going to be a test for this Indiana basketball team. And like I said, they try to make the game ugly. They play at a slower pace than what we've seen in the past from Wichita State. They grind it out. And like I said, this is going to be a matchup that's very difficult if Indiana doesn't come ready to play. And even if they do come ready to play, it's going to be a test. So Indiana's got to be ready, and they've got to continue to play as well as they have without their top scorer in Romeo Langford, because we just don't know if he's going to be available or not.
Absolutely. And like you said, Wichita State playing probably their best ball of the season because that's where we are right now. If you're whoever you're playing, they're probably playing pretty good. Of course, Indiana's playing pretty good now. We give them credit as well. That may have been one of their more complete games in a while that they played on Saturday, both offensively and defensively. They seem to really put it together. And the inside-out combination of Devontae, he's shooting over 40% behind the arc for his last 20 games. That's pretty daggone nice.
No, there's no question. You've got to be able to knock down threes, and finally Indiana, with Devontae doing so, has been pretty consistent at doing that. He's done a terrific job of being able to knock down some shots. He's very confident. As we all know, he's going to take one of those squirrely ones once in a while. It just happens to be how he plays the game. But he has calmed down a little bit. He just seems to be more in tune with what Coach Miller and the coaching staff wants him to do. I think the other players have a lot of confidence in him, and I think that's transferred into how he's playing the game. And without doubt, this basketball team played really well on Saturday against Arkansas. I thought Arkansas played tremendous defense against Indiana, and yet Indiana found a way to win the ball game. And even though they shot just 41%, they held Arkansas to just 30%, or basically about 35% in that contest. That was a terrific defensive performance by Indiana as well. So they've got a bunch of players right now that are contributing. It seems like every ball game somebody different steps up. And I don't think Deron Davis's performance should be shied away from, or Zach McRoberts in that game, even though he didn't play tons of minutes. I thought Zach McRoberts really kind of sparked Indiana in the middle part of that first half when they really needed somebody to step up and give them some life. And I thought he made 2 or 3 really important plays back to back there that really helped this ball club kind of get going against Arkansas.
Yeah, Zach McRoberts was really Zach McRoberts on Saturday, man. You're exactly right. There were 3 or 4 plays. They weren't huge, but they definitely stood out, and they were important at that particular moment, and he does what he always does. The women's team, I want to switch gears for a second, congratulate them. What a tremendous season Terry Moore put together with that women's program. They lose in the NCAA tournament yesterday, but they beat Texas along the way before bowing out to Oregon. A great season.
Yeah, it really was. And Terry's done a really nice job with this basketball program. It's taking over. One of the things the women had not been able to get was a lot of fan support up until here. Terry's taking over the program, and she's been able to win enough that fans have gotten interested. They steadily get right around 5,000 fans for every ball game. It used to be around 2,000 maybe at the most. And I think, for the most part, she's really developed a program that year in and year out shows that they can play with the big boys and the big girls, I should say, as well. So, yeah, I think Indiana's very proud of what Terry Moore has been able to accomplish and what this team this past year, having lost quite a bit with Amanda Cahill and Tyra Buss both graduating, this team has come along and I think really played well, and congratulations to the gals.
Absolutely. Don Fisher, can't thank you enough. Look forward to it. Thank you, sir. And have a great call tomorrow night. And good luck to the Hoosiers.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Obviously, if Indiana wins, they'll be off to New York City next week to play on Tuesday night. We don't care who. It's just getting there that's the key. And, of course, you got to beat a really good Wichita State team tomorrow night to get there. And I think this is going to be a really interesting ball game. And how about the crowd? We had said nothing about the crowd, but I honestly think one of the best crowds of the season. They walked up. They stood in line. There were well over 12,000 and maybe even more than that. I'm not sure they had an accurate number on that game on Saturday as far as the attendance figure is concerned, because there were people in the balconies all the way up to the top in the lower bowl. It was fantastic, and they were a great, great crowd to watch Indiana play.
Absolutely. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. I was stunned when I got there. I got there over an hour early, and the parking was like, whoa. I'm like, where am I going to park? Couldn't believe it. Yeah, absolutely tremendous job, Hoosier Nation, showing up. Don, thank you so much, sir. We look forward to it. We'll see you tomorrow night.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Don Fisher, the great Don Fisher, the voice of the Indiana Hoosiers, joining.
And that was Don Fisher. Thanks to Don for joining us, as he does each and every week. Nothing like hearing the insight from the man who does the play-by-play by himself, or to himself, as we will be back with more Indiana Sports Beat right after this break. Stick with us.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, You must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
With hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold. This hour of Indiana Sports Beat is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. With hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
Well, I mean, you got a lottery pick who has not played the last couple of games. You start with him. Juwan Morgan, you're familiar with him if you watch college basketball the last several years. You'd start with those two guys. I mean, really, really good. But there's other players, you know, averaging between 8 and 11 or 12 points a game. All your starters, your two guard really shoots it well. He's a tremendous scorer. Your point guard has tremendous acceleration going both ways. Your wing is a strong kid that drives it, gets to the rim, looks very athletic. So, I mean, they're all very impressive to me.
So kind of looking at the trajectory for you guys this season, looked like you started out a bit slow on the road, losing your first 6 games.
And that was Greg Marshall. Welcome back here into Indiana Sports Beat, talking about Indiana and what stands out. Romeo Langford and Juwan among them, but is Romeo even going to play tonight?
I wouldn't expect it to see that. I really wouldn't. There's been no word on it, no change. It's a day-to-day situation. He gets treatment every day, and each time it's going to be a game-time decision. But with the quick turnaround between games, I'm not expecting it, but that doesn't mean anything. Again, that's because there's been no word. So I'm going with status quo, and I really don't even think about it, to be honest with you. I'm looking at the team they have on the floor right now, and the team they have going forward is playing pretty well. So that's where I think that most people should focus instead of worrying about who is and who's not playing, or instead of worrying about who's not playing, worry about who is playing.
Is that an advantage for
who's
Indiana
on the floor?
That other teams are game planning for Romeo for him to maybe not even play?
I don't know that they are game planning for him. You don't really game plan for him other than
that's true.
To clog the lane. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Now, Indiana's a different team without him because they become more of an inside-out threat to me. Yeah. As you have seen with Devontae shooting from outside, well, that gives Indiana an outside threat that they have not had. That forces teams to respect the outside shot, which they have not had to do, which opens up the middle more. And you add to that the fact that they're using international rules with the widened lanes. I think that's more of an advantage to Indiana, to be honest with you. To be personally honest with you, if they Devontae can continue to hit outside shots, if he could get a little help from Al Durham, from Rob Finney, that changes this team entirely to a team. Look what the success they had without having outside shooting. Could you imagine if they added outside shooting to their repertoire? People would have to respect that, like I said. And then you open up for Juwan Morgan, for Deron Davis. They could do some damage down there.
Yeah, I mean, and that is what we were clamoring for all year long is go out there and show some heart and hit some threes. That's really all we wanted all year long. So this NIT run, where they have been doing that, it's been really enjoyable to watch, especially Devontae Green.
Well, you're going to have a lot of people, but then you're going to have a lot of people saying, well, why wasn't he playing all year long? Well,
right.
I'll tell you why. 2 reasons. Number one, him. Number 2, Romeo. They play the same position, but they play it very, very differently.
Oh, yeah.
Very differently. And this team is very different with them in there. Now, can they coexist? I think that would be a pretty good dynamic, to be honest with you. If you can add outside shooting, a slasher, and inside play, that would make Indiana a really dangerous team in my mind. But I don't know that we're not going to see that probably, so it doesn't matter. Just my thoughts on that. But, is this team a better team today than they were? I don't know. Who knows?
Seems like they're at least getting more help from more guys.
Well, a little bit. Mainly Devontae.
Yeah.
It's mainly Devontae Green and his outside shooting. You're not getting a lot of help from Al Durham right now, which that's something, I'll be honest with you, that's got to improve. He has got to improve his shooting.
Yeah.
Great kid, great player, hard-nosed, tough, gives you his effort, gives you, he's not loafing out there. So you're not getting on him. It just, his shooting has got to improve. He's not a point guard, so he's got to shoot the ball, man. But he's got to be able to hit. That 1 of 6, 1 of 5 game after game is not getting it done.
Well, that's the thing with Al. He came in as a point guard. That was what he was recruited as. And we have seen him at times this season shoot the ball really, really well. It seems like right now he's just in a slump.
Season-long slump.
I mean, he's had more games
he
than
had a great game the other day, but for the most part, I need to pull up his shooting stats, but...
Yeah. No, I'd agree that he's probably had more games than not that he shot the ball poorly, but we have seen him at times shoot the ball really well.
Yes, but again, that has been the exception, not the rule.
Sure.
To my memory, it's been a lot of 1 for 5, 1 for 6, I was calling Devontae 1 for earlier, but actually, I'd say he's got a lot better shooting stroke percentage-wise than Al does.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
But that's just one of the things they've got to add, man. They've got to increase everything. I mean, if you want to talk about premier teams, they have premier players. Al Durham, great kid, like I said. He should be coming off the bench. The fact that that's a starter, that shows you the level of talent where Indiana is right now.
Yeah.
That should be a bench player. You got guys starting that should be bench players. That should be role players. Indiana has starters that should be role players. Not all 5, but I'm just saying. And until they swap the talent out, which Archie's in the process of doing with recruiting classes and all that. It takes a while. He's doing it. He's working on it. But until that happens, this is what you get. This is what it's going to be like.
Speaking of help, Tim texted into the show, said, just tuned in. What do you all think about this Childress kid from Indiana going to be a preferred walk-on 6'4" guard from Indiana? Seems to have pretty good stats. Another McRoberts?
No idea about him. If he's a walk-on, that means he wasn't recruited that much, so I haven't paid attention to him. It doesn't mean he can't be something great, but I'll be honest with you, I have no knowledge of him.
I haven't heard of him either.
I've been focused on the Watfords of the world and whatnot. And speaking of Watford, he's down to Memphis, Indiana, and Duke. It looks like, because LSU and Alabama, he says they're not out, but I'd say LSU's out without a doubt. Their coach is suspended for alleged cheating. Alabama's coach just got fired.
I'm almost positive I heard yesterday that Alabama is bringing on Trendon's high school coach as an assistant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How can they do that? They don't even have a head coach.
Well, they know they want this guy as an assistant so they can get Trendon.
See, different than cheating. You're hiring an assistant coach and you don't even have a head coach? Who the hell's hiring the assistant coach?
Right.
Who the hell is putting him on the staff? So you're saying, okay, I want you to take this head coaching job, but you must take this guy as an assistant, as player.
Pretty much.
I think that is no different than cheating in another. I think that is cheating as well.
Yeah. Well, that happened.
I mean, it's one thing for the coach to do it,
yeah,
but for the school to do it when you don't even have a coach in place. Right. Come on, man.
And that's what I was going to bring up. I mean, there's been coaches in the past pull stuff like that before, and I don't know. To me, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think it seems a little shady, but
funny. I know. When a coach does it, okay, you can get away with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But a school doing it, to me, that says nothing but the only reason we're doing this is that.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to come out and say that, okay, I'm cool with that. But if you want to sit there and lie and hide behind it, no, I'm not cool with that.
Apparently, you're going to make a decision on April 20th.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Hey, but I was talking about shooting percentages. Al Durham's shooting 40% on the year.
And Devontae?
40% on the year. Almost, if you want to be truthful, a tenth of a percentage better for Al Durham. Free throw percentage? Devontae's at 78. 3-point, 42%.
Pretty lights
Let me say
out.
that again. 42%. Romeo, 27%. Let me say that again. 27%.
Not good. For as good as Devontae's is, that is just as bad.
Juwan Morgan outshoots Romeo from behind the arc by 3%. I mean, those are just raw numbers, folks. They are what they are. Dr. J texted in on Devontae that he is actually 55% from three for his last 5 games.
That's up there.
It's what this team has lacked all season. And again, you have to ask the question, had Devontae been able to get his act together earlier on, because he's a big he holds a big part of the responsibility here of getting his own act together. If he had gotten his act together sooner, maybe the team would have been better, but maybe the team could have approached it differently. Because I'm going to be honest with you, and it's just a guess, but, you know, been a lot of guesses that there was stuff going on other than just simply basketball. If I had to guess, I could make that same guess. And pretty much you're probably knowing where my guessing is going to go. I'm not going to say it because I don't have anything to back it up. But look at the results today, and I can see where there may have been a little discord in the team, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But since you haven't answered me, I don't know if you do or not.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. But, I mean, yes, I do.
But you know what? That's, again, I have nothing to back that up, so I'm not going to make that statement. But the numbers are kind of heading in that direction.
Well, it makes you wonder not only where Indiana could have and would have been had Devontae played like this all year long, but you've got to think, are they where they are in the NIT right now without Devontae Green?
No, of course not.
Right.
They're not even, no. They're nowhere without him right now. Right now, without Devontae, they're nowhere.
Sitting at home, playing Fortnite.
Devontae is shooting the ball for Indiana. Devontae is scoring for Indiana. He's scoring and shooting the ball. But also, the rest of the team is able to open up. It's not a one-man kind of a deal here. I wonder, and again, this is not a negative, this is just a question. The way Romeo's game is more of a one-on-one type of situation. It's more of a, his game is mainly just getting to the rim, which is a one-on-one situation. does not really involve the rest of the team. Does his style of offense make a team better?
Romeo's?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you would think it would make it worse, judging by the...
I'm not saying it does or doesn't. I'm asking the question, though.
Yeah. I mean,
does that style of offense help a team, or actually does it hurt a team? Does it hurt a team by not involving the rest of the offense, by not allowing it to be a cohesive, smooth unit? Where if this doesn't work, you roll right into something else.
At the college level, I think basketball is still considered a team sport. So I would have to agree that, yeah, you want to get your teammates involved. Romeo's game at the next level in the NBA is going to be just fine because that's what they are predicated off of, one-on-one, get to the basket. But, yeah, I would agree with you. At the college level, maybe you want to get your teammates a little more involved, but at the same time, I mean, you're the best player on the floor. You got to eat.
I think you've hit on something there. His game is, while it is a great game, Romeo is a great player. I think his game is much better suited for the next level for what you just said. The pro game is more predicated upon individuals and people picking up the pieces and just doing it themselves. It's not as much run the offense as it is, especially for Indiana, for this team. And I don't think that it has worked very well for this offense. Again, it's just a fit. I don't think it ended up being a very good fit. There's a difference between scoring points and it also helping others to score or just scoring the points. And I think that's kind of what has happened here from how I see it. It's not good or bad. It just is what it is. And I think, like I said, that his game will succeed at a better level at the next level.
Yeah.
We'll find out. I mean, but he's a great, great player, a superb athlete, superb kid, a great kid. No matter what Romeo does, how he ends up, wish him the best. Of course.
Joker text in asked, did you see the McDonald's All-American festivities dunk contest last night? What a scam, downright horrible.
I did not.
I didn't either. But now
I must have missed something.
I'm going to have to go look for it.
What did we get scammed on?
I'm guessing Trace probably threw down a nasty one and got robbed.
Oh. Yeah, I did not know it was going on.
That's just me guessing. Yeah, it is McDonald's All-American Week, so Trace Jackson Davis is out there.
Very cool, very cool. Trendon Watford, I think he's on that team as well.
He is. A lot of names that we've heard in the past are on that team. Guys like Matthew Hurt. Keon Brooks got snubbed, of course. I'm still kind of sour about that one. Not sure how he doesn't make the team, but
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Greg Marshall will bring his Wichita State Shockers into the Simon Scott Assembly Hall tonight for a 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time tip. 6 o'clock Central, of course. Don Fisher on the call. You don't have to go anywhere. You can keep it tuned right here. Catch the game. Pre-game starts an hour beforehand. So that's 6 and 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central. But keep it tuned right here for Indiana's third round NIT action. Tonight they take on the Wichita State Shockers. Winner moves on to New York City, Madison Square Garden. Pretty cool place to play. I mean, they've got something they're playing for. You get to keep playing, number one.
Yeah.
Your college career is over. The next game you lose if you're a senior, if you're a Juwan Morgan.
Yeah, and Archie said something earlier this week that I really got behind. He said, if you're in the NIT, granted whether it's where you want to be or not, you might as well just go win the thing.
Why not?
Why not?
Kind of what I'm thinking. Chronic Hoosiers on the program today. We'll talk to him in the next hour. Mike Schumann from the Daily Hoosier will join us as well. We'll talk to Mike. Preview the game tonight. the women's team, their season wrapped up as they lose in the NCAA tournament second round to Oregon over the weekend. They are back. Congratulations to them on a superb season, though. The baseball program back in action tomorrow at the BART as Kent State comes to town. We've got plenty more coming up on Indiana Sports Beat. Like I said, Chronic Hoosier joins us next. Mike Schumann will join us in the next hour as well. Stay tuned. We got plenty more coming at you right here on Indiana Sports Beat.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become
Waste and Removal
one
Service,
in a
a
million.
homegrown company serving Southern Indiana since 1995.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along. Well, we flew through Cincinnati.
Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride today. Jim Coyle with you, as always. Justin Kalen, high at top the crew chief's box.
That's right.
Hope your day's off to a great start. If not, we can get it headed in that direction. Chronic Hoosiers on the program today. You look forward to talking to him shortly. Mike Schumann from the Daily Hoosier joins us as well. Indiana basketball on the court tonight. Lots to get to and talk about. Before we do that, let's get to the headlines with Justin.
All right, here are your Daily Hoosier headlines for the 26th day of March 2019. As UFC's Conor McGregor announces his retirement via a tweet yesterday. Indiana men's basketball set to take on Wichita State tonight at 7 in Simon Scott Assembly Hall for a chance to get to Madison Square Garden for the NIT Final Four. And on that same side of the bracket, Creighton and TCU will also play tonight. Those are a look at your Daily Hoosier headlines for this 26th day of March 2019. For more information, be sure to check out thedailyhoosier.com.
Hey, make sure to like or follow us on Facebook. You can find the show rebroadcast any place you find a podcast. Apple Play, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play. You can find the show live each day online if you can't catch it on Big X Sports Radio or on the Ref 97.7 in Evansville. Big X Sports Radio, of course, 1450, 96.1 in Louisville, Southern Indiana. TheGruelingTruth.net, IndianaSportsBeat.com, and TheDailyHoosier.com as well. But plenty to get to. Mike Schumann joins us today, Chronic Hoosier, in the next segment as well. Lots to talk about. Hey, a big story came out yesterday. I don't know if you saw this, but more along the lines of federal college basketball information. Attorney Michael Avenatti, who seized the spotlight last year as a lawyer for former adult film star Stormy Daniels, was arrested Monday and charged with attempting to extort more than $20 million from Nike. Federal prosecutors in Manhattan charged Mr. Avenatti with extortion conspiracy, alleging he told lawyers for Nike that he and an unnamed co-conspirator would release damaging information about the company if Nike didn't pay them to conduct an internal investigation and settle a client's claim, according to a complaint unsealed Monday. So basically, they're extorting money from Nike. So if you don't give us $20 million, we're going to blow the lid on some stuff. Mainly what I heard was that Nike, they had proof that Nike was paying high school players, a la Adidas, and getting into that. In a separate criminal complaint, U.S. Attorney's Office in L.A. alleged that Mr. Avenatti embezzled a client's money to pay his own expenses and cover debts, including for his own law firm and coffee business, and defrauded a bank using phony tax records. Those charges grew out of an investigation by the IRS into Mr. Avenatti's businesses. Prosecutors in California said Mr. Avenatti was arrested in Manhattan and faces 6 charges in 2 districts. An appearance in federal court Monday evening.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if he even ever had anything at all.
Well, his co-conspirator in this Nike deal is Mark Geragos. Mark Geragos. People familiar with that name because he was a lawyer for, oh, man. Wasn't he involved in the OJ thing way back? And he represented somebody in something totally different, but
Michael Jackson. He's a defendant.
Michael Jackson? He represented Michael.
He's defended Michael Jackson, Colin Kaepernick, and Jussie Smollett.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, the Colin Kaepernick thing. Who's represented? Who works for whom? Nike.
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick is paid by Nike, whom Geragos represents, but yet he's suing Nike, or he was trying to extort Nike in this other situation. How about that?
Shady deal.
It's all over the place, man. It's nuts. It's nuts everywhere.
If Avenatti does have something, do you think that eventually will come out or no?
Oh, it'll eventually come out, but that guy's a clown, obviously. Do you think that you're the only person that knows that information then, right, if he knows it?
Right.
And if Nike's going to have to pay, it's going to be to the government for fines. They're not going to pay you jackass. What an idiot. Dude's...
he tried.
Yeah, he's hurting. Hey, hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Questions, comments, like Kevin did. Softball team, Indiana softball team, they've been rolling this year, man. They've been on the road of late here, though. They were on the road at Ohio State over the weekend. Tonight, that continues. They're in Louisville, taking on the Cardinals. They got swept by Ohio State last weekend. Very disappointing. Wow. I didn't see that. Holy cow. Yeah, I don't know if they're still ranked, but they've been ranked most of the year. What a great season they've had. But they're in Louisville taking on the Cardinals if you want to go check that out. Thanks a lot, Kevin. Appreciate you hitting us up. I hope you all can do the same. 812-269-6367. Let us know what your thoughts are. Indiana tonight on the hardwood as they take on the Wichita State Shockers. Simon Scott Assembly Hall tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Central. Don Fisher on the call. Game right here. You win this game, you go to New York, man.
Yep.
You keep playing. I think if you win this game, it gets a little easier, to be honest with you. This is Arkansas, tough team. Wichita State, tough team.
Yeah, Tim texts in and says Wichita State only has 2 players averaging in double figures. McDuffie, 18, and Haynes Jones, 11. The rest of the team anywhere from 0 to 9 points per game. So it looks like a 2-man team, but I'm sure someone will come alive and put up 25+.
That's usually how it happens. Yeah, the guy that's hit 0 for 6 on 3-pointers for the season, he'll hit 10 in a game tonight against Indiana. That's generally how that works. But should be a good opportunity for Indiana. If they play like they've been playing, it doesn't matter. But I think Arkansas was a tougher matchup for them because partly of what you just said. They're a little stronger team, I think. They have a little bit more of an inside presence, and that's without Gafford.
Josh also texts in and says, I don't want to see any hype videos of players and their vertical leaps this summer. The videos better be about working on shooting.
You know what? I couldn't agree more. I don't ever want to see that crap again. And truth be told, I don't think it was very smart from now on. I think that they need to revamp their marketing campaign. Yeah. Because I know exactly what he's talking about. Because I got sucked into that too. I got sucked into hearing about Justin Smith's 6'8", 48-inch vertical leap before the season, and then watched him get blocked like it was me out on the court playing against Arkansas at the very beginning of the season, and that didn't change. Yeah. I want to see videos of toughness. What I want to see. I want to see people being gritty. That's what I want to see. Grit, toughness, determination, effort, and try. You want to show me something? Show me that. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see this other. I'm done with that. Done with that marketing, make you look like you're great. Over it.
I'd rather see him doing cone drills, to be honest.
I'm telling you, it's running in the sand. That has really aggravated me. Yeah.
Well, because it gives you, and I'm not just talking specifically you, but Indiana fans in general, it just gave them a sense of hope for Justin Smith coming into this season.
Well, I'm sure the coaching staff had a sense of hope.
Right. Well, and that's a stat that should give you hope. If you're jumping 48 inches, absolutely you should have hope. But didn't pan out.
I got news for you. You give me a 48-inch vertical leap, and I'm half an athlete. You give me a 48-inch vertical leap, you ain't blocking me. But you got to have that attitude.
Yeah.
You got to have that just eat 'em up, tear it down attitude.
War dog mentality.
That has to go along with that. It's a lot of mental. You've got to have the mental attitude to go along with the physical capabilities. Because you can have all the physical capabilities in the world, but if you don't have the mental drive, the mental toughness, the drive for success to not be beat, it doesn't matter. Because the guy who has half the ability but twice the drive is going to beat you half the time. Because he's going to come at you 100% of the time. And half the time it's going to work. Just my thought.
Look at David and Goliath.
I just think that's this team, that's where their focus needs to be next year. Mental toughness. Because they had none of it this year. None of it. It was a season for the ages. Let's just say that. It was definitely different. Definitely different.
One of the more weird seasons I've seen in my life, for sure.
It's one of the weirdest team makeups I've seen. I'm not kidding. It's just been a weird makeup, and that's not a negative on individual people. It's just I think it's just been a chemistry makeup that is just not worked well.
Yeah, clearly.
And I got to tell you, I got to be honest with you. I don't think that Romeo's game meshed well. I don't think it was a good fit. That does not mean Romeo's not a great player. He is a great player. You can't say that he's not.
Yeah.
He's going to be an NBA player, period. He's just, his abilities are off the charts. They're high level. They're extreme. They're elite. But his game did not mesh. And you can say, well, maybe it was the other way around. It didn't mesh with it. No, I disagree. Because there was so much, it was so one-dimensional. It's kind of hard to mesh something if you only got one way to put it. You know, if it only fits one way, it's kind of hard to make it fit.
Right. Now, if he was coming out consistently hitting threes, that's kind of along the lines of what you're saying, is that changes things in and of itself. I mean, if he provides more than just a pull-up jump shot or a drive to the bucket, if he could consistently knock down a three, then you're talking about a little bit different team, and perhaps he does mesh then.
27%.
Yeah.
27%. Yeah, that's not going to get much done.
No.
Not going to. You know, I was talking about Justin Smith a minute ago. Dr. J reminds us of A.J. Moye, Carlos Boozer, 6'8" Carlos Boozer, 6'4" A.J. Moye. It's one of my it's my favorite picture.
Oh yeah.
It's my second favorite picture in all of sports, behind Muhammad Ali standing over Sonny Liston.
Fair enough.
But it is. I've always loved that picture of A.J. Moye blocking Carlos Boozer. It is just incredible, because if you know what you're looking at, a 6'4" guy and a 6'8" guy in the game of that magnitude, that was just. I would have that thing plastered all over my house if that were me.
Yeah.
That would be wallpaper.
That was just
beside
all.
each other.
That was just all heart.
Oh, that's all he was heart. But Dr. J's right on that. But that's what we're talking about. That's what effort and that's what heart gets you. Yeah, talent usually wins out over the long haul. But, man, effort will sure sidetrack you.
Here's a good text into the show from Tim, a good analogy. Our players were already set in their ways, hard to change. It's like the streets in New Albany have all been changed to two-way. I'm still almost driving the wrong way because I'm not used to them yet.
Yeah, a lot of places have done that, man. It sure does mess with you.
But I mean,
that's used to traveling.
But that's a
one
good
way.
analogy with the team too. I mean, if you're so used to traveling on a one-way street, they change it to two-way. It's difficult to get out of that habit.
Well, there's a lot of changes that have gone on, and not all of them set in. But we'll continue talking about it coming up on the show. Chronic Hoosier joins us next. Hit us up on the text line if you got any questions or comments for him. 812-269-6367. After that, we'll talk to Mike Schumann. But coming up next here, we've got Chronic Hoosier. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat back with more right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for it each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and
with a possibility for some April ball.
I'm telling you.
Which, looking back over the course of the season, didn't necessarily think we'd find ourselves in this position, especially as of late here in 2019. But I'll take it, man. I will absolutely take it anytime you get a chance to see not only basketball, but we get one more in the hall tonight. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, lots going on, lots of good things going on in Bloomington as the spring season comes around. You got spring football going on right now, of course, close to the Little 500 happening. You had qualifications take place over the weekend, I think on Friday. The baseball team opened up Big Ten play against Iowa with a sweep. So lots going on, lots of good things happening. The women's team get back from their great run on the season. So a lot of good things in Hoosier Nation this year, Chronic.
It's always one of my favorite times of the year. Everybody talks about how amazing fall is in Southern Indiana, and no doubt it is. It's tremendous. But I've always been a little partial to spring, man. After a long winter like we've had, there's nothing better than being able to delayer some of the clothes, return to the patios around town in Bloomington. But again, more importantly, man, this is when the weather starts warming up like this. This is when the basketball gets most consequential, and we absolutely find ourselves again in that position tonight with a pretty dang important basketball game to be played.
Absolutely. Indiana trying to move on in the NIT to head up to Madison Square Garden if they could win this third-round game against Wichita State. Obviously, it won't be easy. The further you get along in anything, like I said earlier, things just get tougher. Actually, though, I think that Arkansas was a little bit tougher of a matchup than Wichita State is, personally, but that doesn't matter. They're still a good team. But Indiana's also playing well right now, Chronic. I mean, they've got it going inside and out with Devontae. He's lighting it up. He's shooting 42% from three for the season right now.
Yeah, it's you want to talk about a microcosm of the season, the ups, the downs, the swings it's gone through. You pretty much have the total embodiment in Devontae Green and the way he's been able to really elevate his game. It's been a ride, I'll say that much. It was revealed here this week that he's got the San Andreas unlimited ammo tattooed up and down his left arm, which I got a kick out of. There's been many times I was wishing there was a pause button located on that shooting arm, as I'm sure Archie has as well. But you know what? You talk about the literal hot hand rolling into the postseason, and I don't think anybody would dispute inside the locker room or without that it's certainly been Devontae right now. He has buoyed the Hoosiers. And bringing an element, I think, particularly when you look at his ability to knock down the three ball, that's really given Indiana a much needed dynamic. It's you look at the Arkansas game and the way in which he was able to help keep Indiana within arm's reach when Arkansas surged out to an early lead, and really help them fight back into it and then maintain the lead. I thought that was, it was a tremendous basketball game, to be honest with you. I thought that was hopefully, you look at every tournament, there's always one game where a team gets tested, where you see, they had to battle through the most adversity. And I get the sense perhaps maybe that was going to be the Arkansas game. Obviously, that could be fool's wisdom here with another game we have to play here in just a matter of hours. But I thought it was a great basketball game to watch, honestly. But on the macro rather, it's been great to see Devontae really kind of round into form as the postseason's come upon Indiana.
Yeah, I can't talk about Devontae enough right now. I'm going to be honest with you, because it's a great story. Usually you see this stuff happen over the course of years where somebody gets in trouble and they go out and they have to redeem themselves and in life and whatnot. He's done all that stuff within a season. This season, he was kind of the bad boy of the team, so to speak. Kind of and then gets a suspension, but then he comes back and seems to really right things for himself. In the locker room last week, I asked him that, since his suspension, his game has been very different, and he said he just had to get the right mental outlook on things, and he's really changed that and worked on that, and it's obvious, man. It's really rolling.
No, unquestionably, and it begs the question of exactly what was going on that led to this point. What was going on that led to the funk the Hoosiers found themselves in? What was going on that that really restrained Devontae from achieving, the potential we've seen him unearth here as of late? And it's probably conversations for a later day during the off season, but I have a feeling that there was something else going on there as the rotations kind of sifted out here within Romeo's absence. He certainly found the space he needed to flourish as a player. And I think what's important here, too, is a teammate, because, it's easy to look at the box score and point to all the success he's had, but Devontae's commitment to playing on the defensive end as well. Devontae's meshing with his backcourt mates, particularly Rob Phinisee, I think it's been a joy to watch, and I think it's been absolutely instrumental in Indiana's ability to find itself resurgent here as the regular season wound down and the postseason began. And it's really got me, for a season that I think a lot of Indiana fans were begging would end swiftly and mercifully. I think it's really raising the specter of a lot of hope for what this team could become next year, building upon these experiences, building upon this success, building upon the chemistry that they've been able to achieve here in the last month of the season.
Absolutely, and I'm not looking to stir it up, but it's kind of hard to not look at the elephant in the room when he comes to Devontae, how his game has flourished at the same time that Romeo has kind of sat down. They both play the same position. They play it very differently, but it has obviously had an impact on the team chemistry, on how they perform. So you can't not talk about it. It's obviously there. Whether or not the Romeo thing, there was some jealousy going on. Who knows? Because I can't. That would be pure speculation on my part. But with Romeo not in there, and I talked about earlier, his game is elite. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure it's a great fit for this offense. and it's just a question. I'm not a coach. I'm not in practice, but it's certainly something that I think has to be asked.
Some of the coaches I've talked to, I'm not a coach either. I never pretend to be. Some of the coaches I've talked to, both during the season, the middle of the season, and especially here in the last couple of weeks, they pointed out, the way in which Indiana's offense becomes a little bit more dynamic, the way in which those attacking lanes are less, right lane only. When Romeo's got the ball, it made it a little easier for defenses to scheme against this team. Being able to sag off on some of the shooters, recognizing that that's a shot you want to give Indiana, because it's probably going to come off as a long rebound and get you in a transition faster. It's a lot of things. I don't know that any of them are definitive as far as what caused him to get to this point, what caused him to pivot in Romeo's absence here. But end of the day, I think more than anything, my podcast partner Zach Osterman talked about it in an article yesterday. The Hoosiers are having fun right now. They very much look like they're enjoying themselves. I said last week that was going to be the big question: is did this team want to be in this particular tournament? Did they want to have to take the lumps from missing the NC2A and finding themselves on the wrong side of the bubble, and really commit to not just to playing the game, but commit to each other? Because you got a lot of guys that any given night could be their last night ever in an Indiana jersey, and that's always a reckoning that I think escapes a lot of them until they're faced with it, until they're confronted with it. And every night in postseason play, that's pretty much that's what you're dealt with here. And to see the way in which this team's been able to respond for guys like Juwan, for Zach, for some of the walk-ons, seniors, it's been very heartening to see them committed to each other to continue playing every night. And you see it with the way they've been playing defense. You see it with the way they've been sharing the ball. Certainly wish it would have happened a little earlier in the season, but you'll always take it whenever you get it, especially when you're in single elimination format like they are now.
Yeah, even the little bitty things like Zach McRoberts in the Arkansas game didn't do a lot, but he did. There was like three different things at three different times and as soon as it happened, I went, that's a Zach McRoberts play. I'm talking about little things like tipping the ball out for a rebound or just little bitty things like that, but they're so noticeable. But he had not even been able to do those things. And I know that's a small thing, but it's those little small things like that weren't happening for them during the middle of the season that are now, that all the shooting, it's all coming together. And like you said, unfortunately, a little bit too late, but it could be used greatly for them moving forward next year because you got most of these guys coming back.
No, that's the thing is, this is one of those experiences that I don't think that you can put a value on from a program growth perspective. This is the first time that any of these guys have had a chance to play in the postseason under Archie Miller. He's never had a chance to coach this particular team in this type of a situation where the stakes are so high, where the emphasis on execution is so critical. And, as you look at the Arkansas game, only played an 8-man rotation. I'd put an asterisk on that and effectively say it's a 7-man when you look at what little productivity they were able to get from Justin Smith. So I think it's absolutely critical when you see the guys who he is calling their number go out and really find ways. And I think it's fascinating when you look at Zach McRoberts. I mean, how many times throughout the course of this kid's career he's done, a dozen things in a game that may never show up in the box score, but are absolutely pivotal to winning. And, even if this is a walk-on senior who's soon to depart the program, it's the opportunity for everybody else to see how those particular plays impact the game, how those plays tip the game in Indiana's favor when everybody's pitching in. You can't buy that. You can't replicate that in the off season. The only way to demonstrate that is to actually go out there and do it, and to have that opportunity and hopefully the lessons that will carry over into the next season. I don't think you can replace that with anything. No amount of off season, no amount of preseason, overseas travel really replicates what they're able to do in this type of situation. So kudos to all the Hoosiers for really investing in themselves, in what's admittedly, the lesser of the postseason tournaments, and finding a way to keep themselves playing. It's going to be a big test tonight with Wichita State coming in. They may be one of the hottest teams Indiana's had to face here in the last month of the season, or a month or so of this season. Having won their last two games in a row on the road in the same format, stepping into what's probably going to be the biggest environment they play in, it's going to be another big test for Indiana if they want a chance to go play in New York.
Absolutely. Get a text in from Samantha. It says, isn't it ironic that most of the season we've been talking about when Archie gets his own players, now that the season winds down, we constantly talk about Green, Morgan, and Davis as the players that are making valuable contributions to this team. They are all Archie's players. He just has to find a way to play them that benefits the team the most. Yeah, as long as he can get them healthy. I think that between the injuries this year, Devontae had his troubles this year. It was like one thing after another. Now that stuff is kind of past, and Archie is able to pull it all together. And that is a part of it, it seems to me. They're as healthy as they've been. They're as healthy as mentally as they have been as well. So you're seeing, minus Romeo, you're seeing this team kind of come together. And although it is a little late, but this is what you could see from this team.
I think what's interesting about that last comment too is, you also look at what it takes when you have a team that has such a deficiency of internal leadership, at least as far as the upperclassmen. And yes, those guys, as she mentioned, have been absolutely critical to this team's success. But I don't think it's any surprise that you're also talking about the upperclassmen on this team. That's one of the things about postseason that always shines a light on the modern day of basketball. I think is for all the teams that are stacked with one and done players and all the 5 stars, and every year it's all about those ESPN darlings and the mock drafts and who's going to be there. Once tournament time comes in, usually it's the teams that have the most balance, that have the most depth, that have the most experience that end up prevailing. And obviously there's always going to be some exceptions to those rules, but that seems to be one thing that March bears out for us year in, year out. Leadership counts, experience counts, chemistry counts probably more than anything, I would say, along those lines as well. But usually it takes leadership in order to instill the type of chemistry that these coaches are striving for. So, by all means, it's the seniors, the upperclassmen on this team have been absolutely imperative in both propelling them to where they've gotten so far and allowing them to achieve, especially as of late. But that's one of those things that I think Archie's been battling with from day one, is getting this, if you want a players program, you've got to have players who are capable of taking that baton and running with it and leading the rest of the guys around them. And, again, going back to my last comment, I think that's what experiences like this do, is showing guys like Devontae, showing guys like Al Durham. Justin Smith is going to have to be in that role next year. God help us all. But that's just the natural progression of things. And it's going to be a similar situation next year, with only a pair of only 2 scholarship seniors on the roster, with only 3 scholarships or rising juniors on the roster. It's going to be incumbent upon those guys to show the next crop of guys coming up, both incoming freshmen next year as well as some of the guys who played in reserve who are going to be asked to step into bigger roles for the team, how they fill those roles and excel and lift the bar even higher. So I think it is an astute point, but I think it's also exactly what the value of this tournament is giving everybody a glimpse of what it takes to reach those next levels.
Absolutely, and we talked a lot about Devontae Green. He's one of these players that next year he's going to be a senior leader on this team. And I think that he's the last person that most of us would have seen as a leader on this team not that long ago either. But now going forward, I can see him trying and morphing in to that leader. And if that happens, I think it would be tremendous for that team because he has that kind of toughness. He has some of the things that I think they've been missing this year, and they can definitely use if he can step into that role.
No, and not only that, I think when you look at the combination of just the backcourt as a whole right now, between Devontae, Al, and Rob, in any offense, but particularly one like Archie's wanting to run, the way in which he wants his team to defend, it all starts at the guard spot. I mean, that's absolutely everything for this team, getting the offense in motion, getting the defense really locked in. I think it's critical that you have the leadership coming, not just from your upperclassmen, but it's going to be important to have your backcourt, your guards, really setting the tone, setting the tempo for the way in which this team's going to attack the basket offensively, the way in which they're going to dig in defensively, and really get that pack line functioning the way that Archie wants it to. So I think it's incredibly heartening to see the way in which those guys, I think, Devontae had described him and Rob as Batman and Batman. Two guys out there with no sidekick, just two guys out there leading side by side. Corny, yes, but I think in spirit it's exactly what you want to see as an Indiana fan. I think it's exactly what Archie's wanted to see for a long time, is the guards really going out there and setting the tempo, setting the tone for how this team's going to play, but particularly doing it on both ends of the floor. And it certainly helps, too, when you got a guy that's out there supposedly being one of your leaders who's able to knock down the big shots and big moments in the game. Because, at the end of the day, that's what leadership is. It's going out there and doing things by example. And oftentimes the ability to knock down those big buckets, as important as the three ball is, that totally changes the tone for this team. You can see the way in which the body language lifts whenever one of those big shots goes down, the way in which they go down and defend on the other end of the court and get some turnovers. I think that's everything and more that Archie's been trying to get out of these guys since he got here.
Absolutely, Chronic. Appreciate you. You knock down the big buckets every week for us. We appreciate you, brother.
Trying, man. Trying. I don't know what code I got tattooed on my arm, but I'll send a pic next week.
That was that came up in the press conference yesterday, and I was like, "What are they talking about?" But he just laughed. He got that thing last August. That's what's funny.
Yeah.
It's been there for a while.
It's been there a minute, and it certainly played like it for some time. Like he was out there, not only did he play like he had unlimited ammo, but he played like he had immortality as well. And I think Archie had to erase that one and remind him that his playing time does have expiration, but they seem to have found a balance in those codes right now. So let's hope they can keep that running.
Appreciate it, Chronic. Thanks, brother. Chronic Hoosier.
See you, man.
Joins us as he does each and every week. We've got a lot more coming up on here on Indiana Sports Beat. I'm coming to you live from Poindexter, having me a cup of coffee here at the Graduate Hotel in Bloomington. Indiana Sports Beat, back with more right after this. Mike Schumann joins us.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on Big X Sports Radio, 1450, 96.1 WXVW in Southern Indiana, and 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for taking us along, wherever you're going, whatever you may be going. Getting you along here on game day. Mike Schumann from the Daily Hoosier joins us now. Michael, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Jim. How are you?
Doing wonderfully. Just getting ready for game day. Indiana taking on the Wichita State Shockers tonight at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall for a shot to go to New York. Indiana's playing probably some of their better ball right now, Mike.
Yeah, 6 of 7, right, in this crazy season that has seen them go 12-2 and then 1-12 and now 6-1.
Yeah, was it you yesterday that posted the 3 segments of the season?
Right, yeah, exactly. It's just about as odd as you can get, so why not make a run here at the end to go to the New York for the NIT? I guess somehow, strangely, that feels appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, Mike posted yesterday something that I saw, and he divided the season up basically into three parts. The beginning, of course, they run off a 12-2 run, and then they go 12-1 or 1-12 rather, and then now, of course, here at the end of the season, back to getting things on righted. And I was talking to Chronic Hoosier about this earlier. It's kind of odd because all year long they fought rotations, fought having players because of injuries. Devontae, had a short suspension in there, and now that everybody kind of seems healthy, with the exception of Romeo. But the team itself is kind of they're flowing offensively, I guess, as well as they have this season.
Yeah, and I asked Al Durham that on Saturday when the locker rooms are open, just what, if there's one or two things that he could point to for this kind of late season resurgence. And he didn't jump to the quote unquote excuse of injuries, but I kind of teed it up that way. And he willingly agreed that, that's definitely been part of it, just that they've, been able to have practices that have, resembled what a high major program should have. They didn't have any continuity or chemistry, back in December and in January when they had 6 and 7 scholarship guys at practice, and he fully acknowledge that, yeah, practices have been much more intense here over the last month, and that definitely contributed to a team that, shows up more ready to play on game day.
I just pinched myself in my own headphones. I don't think I've ever done that before. Yeah, it's been a strange season, as to say the least, for this team. You forget about dividing up into 3 sections, but more importantly, those 3 sections of who that team was. And during the middle of the season, there was no point that Indiana was hit more by injuries than they were at that time. And it wasn't just the injuries. You add the suspension in there. Then I think that, and a lot of people think, and it's all the speculation, but that there had to be more going on besides that, on top of that. So now you're adding a third equation or variable to the equation, which it was already mucked up enough. So no wonder they had such a weird middle of the season. But it seemed to getting things turned around now. This is a team going forward, minus Juwan Morgan, that you're likely to see next year with new parts added to it. So it's got to be a benefit, or at least a joy for people to see this team playing better than they have for most of this season.
Yeah, and I keep going back to, De'Ron Davis and Devontae Green. Both of them missed pretty significant time during that whole ugly stretch. And, it didn't exactly carry through at the beginning, but it was that game at Michigan State where they both played key roles to carry through that huge upset win. And at the time, it kind of hit everybody that, yeah, those guys are pretty important to this team, having 2 upperclassmen that have been through the wars. Now, they turned around and lost a few more games after that, so it kind of lost its luster at the time. But, having the benefit now of kind of looking back at everything in the aggregate, it's clear that those guys are a really big part of what this team is doing now when they're winning. And, just having that added perimeter scorer in Green, having that body in Davis down low that, can not only defend some of the bigger guys, but also, get you a bucket down low when you're just kind of struggling to get anything going on offense. To me, those are probably the 2 biggest things. And you're right, looking forward to next year, they're both going to be back and hopefully healthy and hopefully key contributors to the team. I mean, it's interesting. I wrote something yesterday, comparing the IU men to the IU women last year, who, had 2 senior leaders on their team, and Boss and Cahill, that, both
not just leaders, team, one of which was the best player in the program's history, probably.
Right, 2 legends. Let's put it that way. I'd put them both in that category. They're probably both IU Hall of Famers at some point. They suffered through the disappointment of not making the NCAA, but they turned that into a WNIT title. And then the program, despite losing players of that caliber, has taken the next step forward and gone to the NCAA and won a game before getting knocked out on Sunday night. So there's a blueprint right there in front of the men if they want to take it. And I think, even though Indiana's going to lose Morgan and, 99.9% sure Langford, that they're going to have some key pieces back. I think we still really don't have any idea what the roster is going to look like next year. There's still a lot of moving parts. But I think there's enough potential there that, if the guys return and capitalize on this the right way, this late run here can be this kind of the foundation of something going forward.
Absolutely, and the women's program is the definitive blueprint. I mean, they lose their superstar, best player in the program's history, like you said, and Amanda Cahill, which was another tremendous player. But they get better this year, and it's not so much they get better. They had more pieces. Allie Patberg was not available last year. Bree Wise was in a transfer year, not available. They had those players, gosh knows how good they could have been. But this year, moving forward, they had good recruiting pieces. They've added to that. Another good recruiting class will be coming in next year, and they've got their entire team back. So, yeah, what a great blueprint, because they are continuing to move up and move on, and that's what Archie is trying to do, get his guys in, get his culture set in here. It's just not as simple as people think, because you got players that were there that were of a different mindset before this coaching regime came in, and it's a whole different thing for them. And it takes, well, we've seen what it takes. There's just been a constant turnover, and hopefully they can continue to morph into the team that we're seeing right now. And going forward, Devontae Green next year, for all practical purposes, is going to be their shining star as of this moment. Jerome Hunter, we don't know if he's going to get to play. Hopefully he will, but we don't. Next year, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, I had that same thought yesterday. Devontae's on a nice run right now. Can he be that guy on a consistent basis next year that, you kind of put the ball in his hands and say, okay, you're our go-to guy, you're our leading scorer? Because I think you're right. I think he needs to be that guy without Morgan and Langford. He's the clear guy from just a pure scoring standpoint. I mean, there's other guys that are going to play other roles, but I don't see anyone else that you can look to on that team and say, okay, go get us 20, man. We need somebody to put the ball in the hole. I think he's the guy, and it's based on his track record at IU, there's legitimate questions whether or not he could do that on a consistent basis. He can clearly do it, but can he, from the jump, be that guy? So that'll definitely be interesting to watch going forward. But I think that the correlation to the women's team is really interesting. I asked several of the guys on the men's team that in the locker room on Saturday, have they looked at that as a model or as an inspiration? And to a man, they all acknowledged it and said, yes, that's clearly something that we can look to. I think it's okay to be disappointed that you're in the NIT while at the same time recognize that it's an opportunity going forward. And they all said that they see this, as a chance to build the foundation of the program. And I think we're seeing it. I think tonight's going to be a tough game, but I don't think Wichita State's anything too special to the point that, if your attitude's right, you can beat them.
Oh, absolutely. I think that they match up a little bit better with Wichita State than they did Arkansas. I think Arkansas was presented a little bit more of a challenge for them. But if they have, if Devontae is shooting the ball and with these wider lanes, you got Juwan and Deron Davis roaming down the low. If Indiana's hitting outside, they're a tough team.
Yeah, I mean, if Al Durham hadn't been going through the slump he's been going through right now, I think, because he's had a lot of open looks that he just hasn't been able to knock down, and I think I've heard something about a dislocated finger that might be contributing there. But I mean, if in the role that he plays, if he'd been knocking down shots, I think they would have been blowing a lot of people out here recently. It's because he's just been in such a slump. So, I mean, I think, you're right. Things are moving more freely on the offense, and I think there's a lot of positives to take away right now. And in a strange way, I'm kind of glad that they're doing it without Romeo Langford, only from the standpoint that, hey, he's not going to be here next year. So, this is the chance to convince themselves and for people to find others that can score the ball, because, it's just not going to be an option next year. So while at the same time I think it'd be neat to see him come back and play in New York, if it doesn't happen going forward, it's something that the program can build on.
Yeah, I think that they're doing well right now, and just you dance with who brung you kind of a deal. But, Mike, thanks a lot for joining us. Look forward to it. We'll see you at Simon Scott Assembly Hall tonight.
All right. See you there, Jim. Have a good one.
You bet. Mike Schumann from the Daily Hoosier. Make sure you check out that free IU content. That's going to wrap it up for us today. Game time tonight will be at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall. We'll bring you all the action tomorrow. For Justin Kalen, I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.